Hello, viewers of Flow. It's your boy, Tim Shieff, aka Popeye. This week, I'm joined on a Flow Asks with an incredibly good and long-term friend of mine and fellow team member. His shirt says it all. His watch says even more. It's Good Man Blue, right here. Yes. We'll get straight into it. I've known you for maybe 8 years now. I remember I think I've only been starstruck maybe 2 or 3 times in my life, and you were one of them, brother.
Oh, don't say that, Tim. Really?
Does that make you feel weird now?
Yeah.
It's an awkward situation. No, I remember I've turned up to an Urban Free Flow jam, and you came downstairs with Easy and Bam, and I was like, oh shit.
Okay.
I was like, oh man, they're the guys. Because I first saw you just on Urban Free Flow, maybe one of the PK Jam videos, backflipping off a phone box, and thinking, oh my days, people do that? Like, that is such pioneer stuff. Like that was so. How were those days for you? Like, was it all? I spoke to Sebastian, and he said when him and David were doing stuff, they had no reference. There was no videos online to watch, and it seemed like even then you were the ones who started to make videos. So was there much reference for you?
Do you know what? When I started it, I saw the Rush Hour commercial with David Bell.
Yeah.
And I was at uni, right? This is my little story.
Go on.
I was at uni, and I was just watching TV one day, and I saw this commercial come on BBC One. This guy jumping from rooftop to rooftop, muscles rippling, blah blah blah. And it just made it look so graceful and elegant. And I was like, what is this guy doing? And I just thought, whatever he's doing, I've got to get involved.
Yeah.
So like, that's when I started training, and I just like went outside and I was like jumping on the grass and doing rolls and that. And I could already do like certain flips because I've always been doing it, but I didn't know I was doing it, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Always like jumping off stuff and trying new things.
You did a bit of rollerblading as well.
Yeah, I did rollerblading, I did a bit of BMXing, a bit of skateboarding.
But nothing really grasped you, like.
I mean, I think the roller skating did, the rollerblading, because like I think that's what I did most before I did the free running. Yeah. But yeah, I saw this commercial and I was like, you know what, I've got to do it, and that sort of took over from then. But it was a friend of mine who found something online. He said, "Oh, Paul, look at this," and it says, you know, new craze sweeps the nation. And they're talking about this guy in France called David Bell who was in the commercial.
Yeah. This was after the commercial.
Yeah. And in that little website that I saw, it said that it was called parkour, and I was like, okay, parkour. That's what
so when you saw the advert, you had no idea what it was
No,
called?
I didn't know.
That was your reference?
Jumping. Yeah.
And you just thought, as a kid, do you remember that? As a kid, you kind of did a tiny version of that, and this was just some extreme, like.
Yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to watch things like Power Rangers. That was like my inspiration.
Yeah.
Like, this is in the 90s or whatever.
Yeah.
But these guys are like doing somersaults and that, and doing a little kung fu, blah blah blah. And I used to like jump on my bed.
I remember seeing a kip up.
Yeah.
And then being like, don't try this at home. And I was like, oh,
man, I was trying all sorts. And like, I remember like doing flips on my bed.
Yeah.
And one time, I watched an episode of Power Rangers, and I was so pumped afterwards, right? And I was doing flips on my bed, and I just decided to do a backflip off of my bed, and I landed it, and I was like,
to the floor?
Yeah.
How old were you?
I don't even remember how old I was, man. I was young.
You literally stood on the edge of the bed and you were nowhere near the ceiling because you was a little kid.
Yeah, because I was a kid, but I could do it on the bed, and I was just so pumped from that episode. I did it off the bed, and I stuck it. So then from then I was doing everything that I could. Yeah. And like, people knew me in school as the backflip boy.
Oh really?
I used to like do it on the playground, and people were like, come on Paul, do it again, do a backflip.
You weren't blue then?
No, I wasn't blue, I was just Paul, the backflip boy. But yeah, that's it. And then like I did some more research, and I found some guys in London that were training. Yeah. Spoke to this guy called Easy, you know, didn't know who he was at the time. And he was like, oh, I'm setting up this website called Urban Free Flow, I'll let you know when it's up. So then that went up, and then I started talking to these other guys. There was a guy called Acid Dragon. Yeah. There's a guy called Bam. I was like, okay, these guys seem pretty cool, and like, those are the guys that I sort of looked up to. And there was a guy called Kirby as well. I was like, these guys are amazing. I used to watch their videos and that. Yeah. And then I remember when I went down to London for the first time, and you said that you were starstruck about like meeting me or whatever for the first time. I had the same feeling meeting these guys. I was like, yo, it's Acid. Oh my God, it's Easy. Oh, this is just nuts. Yeah.
This was what, 2003?
Yeah, 2003 it was. That's when Urban Free Flow
10 years ago, yeah.
10 years ago, man. Yeah, seems like it's just flown by. But yeah, I was starstruck when I met those guys, and then I just did it as much as I could from there, man.
That's sick.
Yeah. Actually, one more thing.
Go on.
It wasn't. I think it was the first time or the second time that I met up with those guys to train. I remember we were up on some rooftop and just doing little bits and pieces, practicing rolls and that.
Yeah.
And someone said, "Yo, the police!" I was like, "What?" And I turned around and there was a copper walking towards us up on the rooftop.
Yeah.
There's a policeman walking towards us on his little walkie-talkie, calling for backup.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Damn, what should we do? What should we do?" And I turned around now, and I swear it was like something out of the Matrix or something. The guys were like, just jumping off the roof, just all jumping. I was just stood there on my own, like. So I just ran to the edge and I just jumped off the edge.
Really?
And did this gammy roll, mashed up my shoulder, mashed up my hip. And I was like, oh, just ran away. And the copper was still on the roof. And then, I don't know, I think he must have got down and he tried to corner us in or something. He was running left, right, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know what, this isn't for me. And I was just crapping myself, man.
Oh, really?
And like, we finally got away from them.
So you thought what you were doing was wrong at that point?
Yeah, I was like,
you was convinced you were doing something illegal.
Doing, man? I was like, we're doing something illegal. I'm jumping off a rooftop like a little kid. I'm too old for this. And like, from there I was thinking, you know what, I'm not even going to do it anymore. It's not my cup of tea. But then something, I don't know what it was, but something kept me doing it. And I don't know, I'm just glad that I did, man. Glad that I kept it up.
Yeah, that's sick. Where did the name Blue come from? You wear a lot of blue, obviously. But
yeah, it's always been my favourite colour, and I wore a lot of blue in sort of high school and that, and at uni.
But it's good.
Thank you very much. I remember when I made a Hotmail account, my first like email account. I used to watch a lot of basketball. Yeah. And there was a team called the Blue Devils. And
from where?
Somewhere in America. It was like a college basketball team.
Okay, it's college.
So like when it came to making my email account, I was like, I'll just use Blue Devil at hotmail.com. Yeah. So I used that, and then when I joined the Urban Free Flow message board, I was like, oh, what name shall I use? Oh, Blue Devil, I'll just use that. Yeah. So then, because like on those message boards, you never use a real name. It was like Acid Dragon and Easy and that. And I was like Blue Devil. So then when I met up with these guys, they were like, you're Blue Devil, oh, nice one. And then it just stuck from there, and then ever since I've just been called Blue Devil or Blue for short. So.
Yeah. How was it being a part of Urban Free Flow back in those days before there was any money involved? You were just doing it to have fun with friends, right? It was just, you shared this rare hobby.
Yeah, it was good, man. I'm just thinking back now, like, because when I properly started training with those guys, I was working at an office, right? I used to work in this pensions place, and I remember I'd be at work on the computer, taking phone calls, and all I was thinking about was like, as soon as I got home, I'd change into my like going out clothes, my jumping around clothes, and then I'd just train from like 6 till when it got dark or whatever. And that's all I used to think about just all the time. And looking back, it was almost like I felt like a superhero because I'd be at work, right? And I'd be doing this like boring, mundane crap. I just didn't want to be there, looking at the clock. And then that was me in my daily life, Paul Joseph,
No one
I work
knew
in the
what you
pensions
did.
department. Yeah, I'm dealing with clients and da. But then after work, when I got home, I'm Blue Devil, and I got my blue t-shirt and my blue baggy pants and that, and I do backflips off walls and that. And it made me feel like a damn superhero, man.
Sebastian said the same thing. He said Clark Kent, Peter Parker, like that was the reference.
Yeah.
That you just felt like that, and so when you started to do it professionally, I'm sure it feels great to not have that job, but then do you think you lose anything? Like, because you're not doing it for the same reasons, you're not training as much because you enjoy it, you're training because you want new moves for shows, or you still enjoy training, but you have to preserve yourself for the professional side of it.
Yeah, I suppose that is it. Like I said, when I was working in the office and that, I was doing it for fun, it was great. And then it became my job, which was even better because, it's amazing to do your hobby as a job and get paid for it and that, and not have to work.
But it's dangerous, isn't it? It's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah, because, sometimes when you're training with friends and that, there's so much stuff you want to go out and try, but you can't because you've got a job next week and you've got to preserve yourself and you don't want to twist your ankle and that.
And then your whole attitude is different and it doesn't feel the same as it used to.
Yeah, like I never wanted it to get to that point where you know, because before I'd be working at the office and I'd be waking up in the morning and be like, oh, I can't be asked to go to work, I don't want to go, blah, blah, blah. Like, I never wanted it to get to that point where, you know, I'd wake up in the morning and be like, oh, I've got to go to that shoot today. Oh, man, I've got that shoot for that client. Oh, I don't want to go.
But have you ever felt that?
Yes, I have felt that before.
100%.
I have felt it before, man. And like,
no, I think don't think anyone that's done it professionally for a few years has ever not felt that. That's where kids sitting at home that just want to do it professionally, man. It's I don't know. It is so good. I'm never not grateful for what we have, but there are always moments where you think, you know, you miss what it used to be like. So be grateful. If you're there striving to be professional, man, just enjoy the moment you're at. Enjoy the process of getting there. Don't just rush it.
That's it.
And don't do it for those reasons. Don't do it to be well known or respected. Or do it because you enjoy playing, innit? That's what you did in the first place.
That's it, man. That's what I used to do. But like, what I do now is like, I try and use my time to do a lot of other things as well. Not just because like before it was all I used to do was free run, go out and all day, every day, just training. That's all I used to do. But now, like, because I work in it as well, obviously I do that for work. But then I train free run, but I also do like, you know, calisthenics training as well. I also do. I'm getting into tennis quite a lot recently. I really like tennis, man. I never thought I would, but I really like it.
It's great. Never stop learning. Never stop trying.
Yeah. That's it. Because with tennis, like, I'd never played before up until probably 2 months ago.
Really?
Ever? Yeah. I've only ever like, you know, hit stones with a tennis racket. I've never like properly hit a ball. I was like, this is good, man. Like,
there's a reason they're made like that.
Yeah, but do you know what? I started it. I was like, I'm getting pretty good at this now, so I've been doing that quite a lot.
Are you serving overhand, like?
Yeah. I need to work on the serve actually. I also do badminton and all these.
Who'd you play these with?
Claudiu mostly.
Claudiu Boy.
Yeah. He's really good, man. He's always up for a good game as well.
Yeah.
But I like picking up these new things and sort of starting from fresh, and like because the curve of you know progression is like that, because you pick up these new stuff and you're like, I can do it.
That's true.
And you get good really quickly. Yeah. So I'm just trying to find all these new things that I can get into, and I'm really enjoying it.
I think that's the fuel for life, is new experiences.
Yeah.
And when you can feel progression, like the enjoyment of progression in parkour was great. So when you can just go to a new hobby and feel that, mate, when you're ready, try golf.
Golf, man. Let's do it. Let's hook it up, man.
We'll do some golf. I'm up for that.
Golf. Yeah.
I love a par 3 course. They're quite fun. Just a little chip on the green and a putt. Cool. That's cool. Then came a turning point as me, you, and several others got kind of tired of urban free flow. What happened there? Like, we kind of wanted to do our own thing, or what?
Well, that's what it was, man. End of the day, like, you know, sometimes there's disagreements and sometimes you just don't get along. Yeah. You've got difference of opinion, and if you try and work it out and it just doesn't work out, then you've just got to separate, man. You've got to do what makes you happy. So I think that's what we just all agreed to do, you know? Like, we've been with him for so long that we just started to clash, and we just had to do our own thing, and why not? You know, we've got the skills, we've got the contacts, and that. Why not break off and do our own thing and try something new? So that's what we did, man. I'm so glad we did it.
Yeah.
So glad.
So that was 2009. We formed Storm. How did that come about?
Well, it was when like people were dropping out of urban free flow. Like,
we wanted to do our own thing.
Yeah, you left. You wanted to do your own thing. Like Sticky left, and Kirby had gone before that, I think. And it was just like, do you know what? Why not? Why not just go and just do our own thing and see what happens? And then I think it was Frank who was talking about forming a new team, and then we met with some other guy that was helping us out, and he was like, do you know what? You guys could do this. You guys could do it, man. So like,
gave us that confidence, I think.
Yeah. I mean, he was saying, why not? So we just did it, and we got you on board, and we formed this thing, Storm, man. And it really worked.
Then we made Volume 1, which, in my maybe biased opinion, I think it did partly revolutionise the way freerunning is shot. I think it's safe to say. And you were one of the standout stars from that easily. I think some of the most comments is about the stuff you do in that. What made you like step up to the plate there? Like, what inspired you with that?
I think it's because like it was our first proper video, and you know, we were talking to Claudiu and that, and he had like a clear direction, like where he wanted it to go, and you know, we all had these different personalities, and we had like a different colour scheme and all that sort of stuff. But like, you know, I just wanted it to be special, and I wanted to, you know, for people to watch this video and think, damn man, Storm are sick. Storm are the next big thing. So
did it help seeing you'd shoot one thing with Claudiu and see, wow, I didn't realise it could look that good on camera, and then you're like, I want to do the best tricks I can do now? Did that ever come into play for you?
Not really, because I knew Cloudy was good, and I knew, like, with his vision, that he was going to make it look epic. You know, he's going to make it look really good. Yeah. So I just thought, do you know what? I've got this great guy filming it. We've got this great team together. Why not do some just great moves for our first proper video? And I remember discussing it with the guys, and it was like, okay, we'll do like 5 or 6, maybe 7 moves each, but try and make them the best you can. So when I was thinking about doing them, I was like, okay, I can do this and I can do that. And then when I sort of went out and filmed them, it just came together really well, and it was just the whole thing just worked, man. So
it was, for me, it was a surprise as well with everything, my involvement. Because we didn't really go out together as much. You'd go out with 2 of you and Cloudy maybe, and you'd get 2 or 3 shots in a day. You'd film for 4 or 5 months, but you just chose the moves you wanted to do, and you went out and worked until you got them. It was almost, once you made the decision to do it, it all worked out, didn't it?
Yeah.
Before that, it's hard to do, I think. It's hard to see how you're going to get it done. And for me, looking back, I'm like, damn, how did we do that? So, but at the time, I think we just decided to do it, and we enjoyed the process of it. It was.
Yeah, definitely, man. It was a really good experience, and like, I think it's one of the best freedom videos out there, man.
Yeah,
it really
still,
is.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it helped make us as a team, even though when I remember sitting and watching it and being like, damn, like this is gonna change the game for us, for Freeman, hopefully. And then I also thought for us it will establish us. And the weird thing is, but this is so true in so many situations, nothing happens overnight. You can do the best thing you've ever done and think this is gonna change it for me, and nothing changed, did it? Nothing changed. Like
no.
Nothing. There was no one was coming. Honestly, this is from the heart. I thought $1,000 offers would come, like thousands of pounds. For like, I thought Nike would see it or something. Do you know? Did you feel that?
Yeah, man.
From the content we had, I thought that was going to happen, and it didn't, because you can't just expect to do one piece like that. You have to work.
There was no explosion.
There was no explosion,
like, and office coming in left, right, and centre. Nah.
And I thought there might be, like, genuinely a part of me was hoping for that.
Considering what we did, I thought there was going to be more from it. Yeah.
But that's fine. It's part of the learning curve because that's what I'm just putting it out there, because you might do videos where you feel the same way and think this is it. This is the turning point for me. I did double back in this. Everyone's going to know who I am now or something. It doesn't. Yeah. You have to just earn that respect, man, in the long haul, and I think we've continued to do that because we continue to do stuff. I think the mistake was calling it Volume 1, because then people constantly want that Volume 2. That
was instant. Like, as soon as video went out, people started making comments to, we want Volume 2. When's Volume 2 coming out? After that, it took us months and months.
3 years later, but at the same time, I think that might have got help with people subscribing to the channel.
Yeah.
It may have helped with that, but it was fun, and it definitely. The thing is that sometimes you do stuff and then 6 months later the reward comes back, and it's been a gradual, you know what I mean? It's been nice to have that in the catalogue to show people to get.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like, if people ask what I do, like, I always show them that video because it's our best. It's our best.
Outside from parkour, because this is what I don't really get into, but because I know you well, I know what you're into. What do you enjoy doing? Because I know you listen to Joe Rogan podcasts and things, and
I mean,
what's that like?
Well, I do a lot of sports and that, but that's all the normal boring stuff and that. But I play piano. I like my video games and that. Yeah. But recently I've been watching a lot of sort of Joe Rogan videos. You got me into that sort of stuff. Yeah. Because I like sitting down and just watching and hearing what these guys have to say about stuff, and it just made me think about the world differently, which is kind of
how it works, how life works.
Yeah.
Consciousness and all that. Who else? Name some other people. Who's the black scientist guy? Neil deGrasse Tyson. You introduced me to him.
Yeah. Another guy that thinks about things differently.
Graham Hancock.
Yeah, Graham Hancock. There's Duncan Trussell, who's one of Joe Rogan's friends. Loads of people like that, man. Really inspiring.
And I remember, when something inspires you, it really inspires me, because you don't get excited that easily, but when you do, you commit to it, and I like that. Things like The Matrix, I know how much you love that.
Yeah, man, like when I watched that film, it just blew me away, the whole concept, man, the whole concept. But even like Joe Rogan goes into that, talking about like, what if our reality right now is a simulation, and he's talking about what if like we've already advanced to like the year 2200, blah, 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 and then we built these sort of, because you know what we've got now, like Oculus Rift, and we're talking about virtual reality and stuff, like he's saying, what if we just carried on progressing like that, and it got to a point where you know, we could make something which can completely sort of immerse you in this computer simulation, and then it would be indistinguishable from reality, sort of thing. So we could be seeing that. Yeah.
So we're already in that already.
We could be in that right now. Do you know what I mean?
Someone could have written an incredible program, and that's what we're in right now.
Yeah.
And we're playing the game in it and creating cameras and things within this game.
Yeah, you think of that, you're like, wow.
Yeah, no, I do, and I think it's important to think about that stuff, because you can talk about gossip and people and TV shows and whatever all you want, but really nothing's as enjoyable to talk about as sometimes. You can do it too much, but talking about life and, you know, I think it's important to think about.
Definitely, man.
People avoid it. People don't want to think about that stuff.
There's so much to think about, man.
There's so much, and when you realise how conditioned you are and fixed by the five senses, you know, they keep you in this reality, and it's like, wait a minute, that's all I've got to traverse this universe with. What if there are other senses, other things I can't sense that exist out there?
Exactly,
how do
man.
we get around to that?
We just need to think about more than what's in front of us, man.
Yeah.
Like, and also I've been thinking about, I don't know, just things that just don't matter, things that you can just say, do you know what? In the big scheme of things, it doesn't matter. Like, I used to get annoyed quite a lot. I used to get angry. I used to have like a short fuse and lose my temper quite a lot. And I still do now, but nowhere near as much. And like even earlier, when was it? Like last week, I got a letter from the tax people, HMRC, and they're saying like, you didn't do your tax return properly. You owe us like $5,000 or something stupid. And I was like, oh my god. And like for 3 days straight, I was just fuming. I was so angry, making angry phone calls to them. I was like, and they're saying this and saying that. And I was like, every time I'd see the letter, my heart would start beating. I'd be like, do you know what? This is madness. Yeah. I'd be so angry. But then like, I saw something on the TV. It was on the news about the typhoon that's just happened, and all these people that lost their lives and that. Yeah. And like you see the devastation and people just digging through the rubble trying to find their loved ones and that. And I was like, fucking hell. There's me. There's me like going crazy about like a bit of money, and there's people out there that have lost their lives. There's me sitting in my London flat with my Xbox and my expensive camera equipment and blah blah, and I'm moaning about a bit of money, and I was thinking, just don't matter, man. Like, I still got a roof over my head. I've still got money in the bank. What am I complaining about?
Got a nice watch.
Got a nice watch. Got my nice clothes. I've got like 30 pairs of shoes. It just don't matter. It's just a bit of money. Like, I'll pay that bill and then I'll do a job in a couple of weeks or whatever and earn the money back. It's just money, man. Like, it just doesn't matter.
I think when you take it too seriously, you create a glitch there where you struggle. You push it away from you, don't you think? If you treat it with too much authority and on a plateau, then money becomes a harder, like an entity that you're chasing and you can't get. But when you think, oh, it's just that, yep, cool, done, and you don't give it too much thought.
It shouldn't be your ultimate goal, man. It shouldn't be like the only thing you're chasing in life.
The problem is it's so enthralled in our society, they push it on us so like a lot, you know.
Well, I suppose that's why they need some sort of, I don't know, revolution. This whole Russell Brand thing is trying to do it, man. Yeah, like, our system is corrupt. It's trying to do something.
Yeah. Anyway, back to free running.
Yeah.
Back to what's really important.
Yeah.
Free running. What are you doing now with it? Are you wanting to keep training?
Yeah, I want to keep training because I've been going through quite a lot of injury problems recently. Like, I've had quite a few injuries. I broke my wrist before. That was like probably 3 or 4 years back. That was pretty bad. That was a dislocation. I had to have 2 pins in there to hold it in place. Actually, this is the only time I've ever passed out, is when I had to have the pins out, right? Put the pins in, held it in place. I had a cast on there with the pins sticking out. And then when it came to have these pins taken out, I thought they were going to like sedate me, and I'd wake up and the pins are going, oh, my wrist back, and oh. Sat down in the office now. This nurse came over to me, she had a pair of pliers. Yeah. I was like, whoa, you're not gonna like knock me out or anything. She's like, nah, we don't do that. And she sat down and she's gone, brace yourself.
Brace yourself.
I was like, ah! She's got the pliers now. Gripped on one of the first pins, she's gone, and just pulled this massive pin out of my wrist. I was like, oh my God, and my stomach was turning. And then she's gone to do the second one, and then I started to hear this in my ears, and my vision started to go fuzzy. And I was like, and she's like, stay with me, Paul, stay with me. And I'm like that, and I was like, ugh. And then next thing I know, I just woke up on a bed. I was like, what happened? and I passed out because she's pulling these fucking massive things out of my wrist. So that was horrible. Yeah, so that was my wrist. I've injured my hand before, and now my finger sticks out at a weird angle. I don't know if you can see that. I damaged something in my hand.
And a ligament won't go back.
I don't know what it is, man. And I've done, the usual, twisted ankles and cuts and scrapes and that. And then, was it last year, last May? It was. Okay. I was out filming with you. Yeah. And I was at IMAX trying a sort of running pre to dive Kong. Yeah. Warming up with the running pre. Hit the wall, one of my feet sort of popped out, ended up falling down the gap, and I landed elbow first, and I sort of bashed my head as well. Ended up with twisted ankle, fractured skull, and basically shattered my elbow. Like, it wasn't just a break, it was a shatter, it was in pieces. So I've just been recovering from that for, year and a half now. I'm still not recovered, man.
That was a grim day.
That was a grim day, yeah.
Got taken in the ambulance. I remember riding on your bike to
I remember when you jumped down, because you were the first person I saw. You're like, you're right. And there was just blood pouring from my head. Yeah. You took your t-shirt off and put it on my head. And, looking after me and that. But yeah, that was grim. That was bad.
Yeah, but we trained a bit the other day, and we had no cameras out, and it was fun.
It was good.
Like old times. You realise, like, the thing is, on parkour, you constantly lose your journey and get your journey back, and it's nice because it's peaks and troughs, but you learn something new every time, I think.
Yeah. But after that accident, I wasn't sure if I was going to carry on, because it was so bad, and I've just been in and out of casts for the past year and a half, and in and out of physio, when I've had metal work in there and stuff. Yeah. And it was dark, man. Like, I was thinking to myself that I'm just going to quit. I'm not going to do it anymore. And I was going through this phase of just being angular. Why me? Blah, blah, blah. My life was going so well, then I've messed my arm up, and now I can't do it anymore. Yeah. But like I said, you just got to think that there's people that are always going to be better off than you and worse off than you as well. Yeah. I'm quite lucky, I've been doing this for 10 years, and I've made it my job, and got a nice place, and nice friends and that. Like, it could have been worse.
Attitude of gratitude, man.
Yeah,
it's definitely a powerful
That's what I'm trying to be.
Grateful is very important. Man, that's hectic. What do you enjoy now when you look into freerunning? Do you still watch the odd video and you see stuff if someone shows you something? Is there any athletes you look out there and like seeing what they're putting out? Or?
I don't know. I don't watch too many videos these days. Like, I know you show me some good stuff out there, but there's just so many guys out there now just coming out of the woodwork and killing it. And I love seeing that, because, like, I remember when I first started, and if you could do a backflip, you were considered amazing. Oh my God, this guy could do a backflip. And like, nowadays you see kids that are like 13, 14 years old that have been training for 3 months, and they're already doing like gainer falls and that. I love seeing that, and I love seeing
But
people
I don't think they're any more talented than when you were just backflipping. Even though the tricks are different, the reference is the same point. Like, your reference of backflips was you've seen a couple of people do backflips. They've seen hundreds of people on YouTube do the gainer falls or whatever.
But it's just,
even though the skills are different, I think where the positions you're coming from are the same, and that no one's necessarily more talented or picks something up quicker. It's that you're just around it and you see it more, and it's like the collective consciousness of parkour. These are the tricks that are standard, and with the attitude comes the moves naturally. Whereas before, if someone could even gain it, that, like Daniel Abaka back then, that was ridiculous.
That's like, true. But it's good to have just seen, like, from where it was growth. And then from where it is now.
You've seen incredible. It from where backflip was a ridiculous trick. To where it is now, which is far, far beyond that. Cool. All right. Well, thank you very much for talking to me, Blue. Paul, as we call each other when the camera's off. This is my mate's Paul. Tim. Right, I really appreciate that. Thanks for being on Flow. I hope you like being a part of Flow. We try and keep it real in the parkour community.
Yeah, it's good to sit down and have a chat, man.
Yeah, man, definitely is. We'll continue this chat with the cameras off. Maybe talk a bit more of that spiritual nonsense.
Yeah, right. Definitely.
Thanks for tuning in. See you next time on Flow. Peace, guys.